47% market share when it comes to purpose-built backup solutions.
Now what we bring in is the real appliances which are designed for this backup and recovery activity only. That is where the architecture matters, right? So our architecture is unique.
And this is only for enterprise level customers, or is it even suitable for even medium and even small customers?
To 16 to 18% of our revenue comes from that segment, right? Small and medium segment. And our products are designed, our licensing is designed in such a way to cater to that segment.
Today, security is a primary thing for any customer. Data is a new currency, and we need to make sure that this data is protected, especially when we have attacks like ransomware happening, or the kind of cyber threats what you're saying. And I know that for a fact Dell Technologies is doing a lot of work around it, not only with their data protection solution but their entire portfolio as such.
Yes.
Throw some light about it in terms of how does it work over here when it comes to your sales portfolio.
Rolling. Action.
And cut.
Today I am here with Goutam Sahu, who is the Regional Business Manager for Data Protection Solutions at Dell Tech, and here he is with us to talk more about what are the various offerings and capabilities what the solutions bring in and how it can be beneficial for our customers. So Goutam, welcome, and I'm glad to have you over here with us for this day, and I'd like to hear a lot about you and the work what you're doing at Dell Tech.
Thank you, Sumant, for inviting me. Yes, there are a lot of, I will say changes happening to data protection segment, the technologies and all. I'm quite excited to discuss all these things with you.
Fair enough. So, especially when we talk about these data protection solutions in the market, right? We see, that there are enough number of vendors over there in the market, enough number of service providers for backup solutions. And here it is, Dell EMC, who's been a leader since 1999. Basically what we are talking about is 21 consecutive quarters of leadership in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, basically showcasing in terms of how well you have executed on the vision what you have created for yourself. So how do you see this kind of leadership, this kind of acceptance from customers? How do you see this?
Well, Sumant, yes, this is an incredible achievement. We are quite excited. We are happy to be in this position. But yes, it comes with a lot of challenges. It comes with a lot of responsibilities. Achieving this was not simple, but maintaining this and then taking it forward is definitely a lot of work to do for that. We have seen many vendors coming in and going off, but we are there. We are doing great, and we will continue doing this. We are excited about it. I'll tell you, there are 3 or 4 factors which account for this success. I mean, we have seen vendors coming in with fancy features and functionalities and all, but then they are not able to sustain the growth or the demand of the customers. Now, one key aspect when I look back our journey over the last 21 years is the product quality, right? Whatever be our software technology, be it Avamar or Networker, or even the relatively new member in the family, Power Protect Data Manager, we have seen very few complaints or challenges or issues or bugs from customers, right? What does it mean? It means the product, when it is released to the market, goes through rigorous quality assurance processes, quality checking processes, and the product is clean when it comes to market.
Right.
And that is what customer is looking at today, because they use these technologies in the enterprise, in the data centers. So they need to be very sure that the product can sustain the kind of scalability, the kind of reliability they are looking at. That is one point. Second, the product release cycle. There are many vendors out there in the market where they find it very difficult to bring in a new version of the product, right? Customers have to wait for months together to get the updates and all, and we have seen that happening in the market. But when it comes to Dell Technologies, we have an adaptive product release cycle. Every 3 to 4 months, we bring in new features and functionalities in line to the platform vendors or the application vendors, so that customers don't wait for long to acquire a new feature or functionality. Right. So that is the second benefit what we offer to the customer, and that is consistent throughout these years. The third one I will say, in today's growing data, in the data center space, it is the intelligence or the data reduction technology is what we bring in, right? We are the pioneers in that, right? When you combine Power Protect data domain with data protection suite of solutions, we provide by and large much better data reduction ratios compared to any other vendor in the industry, right? What it means is, in a challenging situation where the IT budgets are shrinking day by day, customers are looking at cost effective solutions. They are looking at how to manage their limited IT budgets for so many different things. We bring in extensive storage reduction due to this reduction techniques, as well as we provide the lowest cost to protect. And the fourth, I will say, last but not the least, it is the presence, right? The global presence. What customers look at it, whoever be the vendor of choice, they are looking at sales and support at any corner of the globe, whether it is any economy for that matter, whether it is matured economy or a developing economy, they are looking for sales and support either directly or indirectly. The kind of presence we have directly as well as through our channel network, I think no one can beat us in that. So these are few factors, I think, deciding and then keeping us on top.
I'm not surprised at all, Goutam. See, when I look at even IDC statistics, right, 47% market share when it comes to purpose-built backup solutions, and that's humongous. That's a mammoth number. Achieving that obviously is not a joke, or it's not that this has happened in a short-term period. It has happened over a period of time, and obviously that I can also relate to it and say that it's basically the kind of acceptance what customers have shown for the kind of offerings what Dell Technologies has been giving out to the customers over a period of time. So I'm sure that has obviously contributed to this, and the 4 factors what you said, which is basically making a lot of sense around it. Your solutions, especially the ones what you have, it basically supports any leading applications and any databases for that matter. It can come in different forms and factors. And when we talk about that, what are the kind of different variants or variations of solutions what you have when it comes to only data protection as such?
Well, before I answer this, let me just go a step back and talk to you about purpose-built backup appliance, because that's a quite interesting subject and very close to my heart. You rightly said about purpose-built backup appliance market. Yes, IDC normally talks about the industry share, while Gartner talks about the efficiency, the supportability and all those things, right? Now, if you look at a purpose-built backup appliances market, over the period of time, I have seen many vendors coming into this market and then exiting the market. I'll tell you, there are a few key aspects to it. When you talk about a data protection market, you have both software as well as hardware, that is appliance, right?
That's right.
There are many software vendors out there who are excellent in their software technologies, right? But when it comes to a hardware business, it's a different ball game altogether, right? Be it managing your hardware life cycle, be it managing your manufacturing facilities, support services, logistics or supply chain, anything for that matter, it's a completely different game altogether, right? Not many software vendors are equipped or to manage this kind of environment or this kind of business, right? That is how we have seen many people exiting this business. But when it comes to Dell, I think nobody can. No one has a better supply chain or a product life cycle compared to Dell, right? So that way, we are there. I mean, and again, I think when you talk about a purpose-built backup appliance, I have seen many vendors bringing in the name of purpose-built backup appliance. It is nothing but a server with underneath storage attached to it and a software installed on this, right? That's not purpose-built backup appliance. Now, what we bring in is the real appliances which are designed for this backup and recovery activity only. That is where the architecture matters, right? So, our architecture is unique. Now, we have a functionality called DIA, Data Invulnerability Architecture, right? Now, what exactly is this? This is a patented functionality from us. Now, every block of data written to these appliances, even before the data is committed to the appliances, we verify the consistency and accuracy of each and every block, right? No one does that in the industry, right? We are unique, right? If we find any inconsistent in the data, we do not write the data to this appliance, and we proactively intimate the administrator about the data so that they can do the investigation, right, before the data is backed up. So, we give the guarantee that the data which is backed up to these appliances are 100% recoverable. We are the only one in the industry who does that, right. So, these are certain differences what I see. Secondly, I spoke about data reduction technologies, the deduplication technologies. The entire portfolio of Dell Technologies comes with a global variable block length deduplication. Now, what exactly is this? When I say global deduplication, you might have different types of workloads in your environment. It could be physical or virtual, it could be any kind of applications or databases, it could be enterprise class NAS appliances, it could be any virtualization platform for that matter, it could be cloud, it could be endpoint devices or anything. When we back up these data, we back up across all these workloads and we perform a global deduplication, and our deduplication is based on a variable block size, right? In the industry, we provide one of the lowest, I mean the smallest block size when we perform these backups. And as you know, as a layman, the smaller the backup, smaller the block size, the better the deduplication you get, right? We have technologies where we provide up to 65:1 deduplication and compression. I don't think any of the vendors in the market, any of our competitors can come closer to that.
That's a huge number.
So that's a huge number.
Continuing with whatever you said, I myself have seen a good number of customer places where we have seen 90% data reduction, and the footprint of a size of a customer who had 20 TB of data is hardly less than 2 TB, and it's a crazy number. I mean, where do you see that kind of reduction happening?
Yeah.
Now also that, like that said, we did. Let me come back to the other question which I had. You do have solutions right from when it comes to backup, right from edge to core to cloud. You back up the entire stack as such, and this you do it across any application or any sort of a database which is there.
Yes.
Now, do you have different category of solutions when it comes to that?
Well, when it comes to Dell Technologies, we are never a single product company. We believe and understand customer has different types of data sets, different workloads, and every data is treated differently and has different criticality, right? Keeping that philosophy in mind, we also bring in different technologies to suit each of these types of workloads, right? While saying so, we also have we have packaged our solutions in such a way that if a customer is looking at everything all in one kind of a requirement, he doesn't have to look at multiple licensing models and all those things, right? So, whether the data is any kind of an application, say the traditional legacy applications or databases like Oracle or MS SQL, DB2, Sybase, anything for that matter, or any kind of a virtualization platform like your VMware, Hyper-V, or even any kind of ERP applications or cloud or anything for that matter, we offer end-to-end to the customers. Customers have the choice of buying this independently as well as a suite of license.
That gives a lot of flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. You did mention about a couple of features wherein you said, deduplication, you said about snapshot. We did talk about, almost 9x kind of a reduction. Now, we do have many vendors, like I said, in the market. And the very first thing when it comes to backup solution is that what is a kind of data reduction can I see, and what is the kind of numbers what I can see, and how does the snapshot work over here. If you can elaborate a little more in terms of what more can this happen, can happen when it comes to this particular criteria, I think that will be very insightful.
Yes, as I said, I mean every data protection technology of Dell comes built in with these kind of reduction technologies, which is the global variable block length deduplication. Now, when we talk about this reduction technologies, when most of our competitors find it difficult to go even 7:1, 8:1 and 10:1, we go up to 50:1, 60:1, 65:1, right?
Right.
This is basically the crux of this entire thing. One, I said about the DIA architecture. Second, we have something called SISL. So what we do is, I mean, all these things happen in line when the data movement happens from the source to the destination.
Right.
This entire intelligence tech plays, right? So what it does, I mean, it basically reduces your volume of data that moves from source to target, and we don't require any staging areas or anything to manage these deduplications and all, and that is one of the beauties of our solutions. Secondly, some of our key aspects to our technology is something like client direct backup, storage direct backup, and application direct backup. These are the three key areas to our key functionalities to our solutions, right? When entire industry is looking at a 3-tier architecture, having a master server, moving the data through the master and media server to the target, we talk about a client direct backup. Irrespective of your data size, you do not require more than one master or media server, right? The backup happens directly from the source to the target appliances. Only the metadata or the index information moves to your master or media server.
Right.
So this greatly reduces your backup infrastructure, I mean backup bandwidth and the load on your network. Earlier, customers used to look at LAN-free backup, right? Why were they looking at LAN-free backup? Because LAN was always congested, and that is why they were looking at 8 gig, 16 gig FC connectivity, so that the backup would be perform faster. But once I have this client direct backup, whatever be the customer's network, it is illogical for me, I mean, to upgrade it with FC connectivity and all this, right? I can perform even better than the vendors who are performing LAN-free backup, right? Then I spoke about application direct backup. Now, what exactly is this? A lot of customers out there today, they are looking at self-service and application aware backup, right? Most of the backup technologies, if you look at, what they do is they install their agent, and that agent takes an automated backup which is managed by the backup administrator, right? But when you look at the administrators like the Oracle administrator or the SAP administrator, they are keen to have application aware backup. For example, in case of Oracle, it is a RMAN backup, or in case of a SAP, it is a R3 integrated backup and all that. Our application direct concept helps the customer to back up the data in the native application format. At the same time, both the application owner and the backup owner have the visibility to the data what is getting backed up. So what we achieve two things here. We are close to the application owner, the database owner. The backup happens as per his requirement. At the same time, when the IT team or the backup team is looking at compliances, reporting and all, it is also fulfilled because both have the similar view of this entire thing. So that way we are unique in the industry.
Very true, rightly put, Gautam. In fact, it is making a lot of difference to customers, especially when they're trying to choose the solutions out in the market and they're trying to differentiate between various offerings which are there in the market. These things certainly help them out in understanding. Now tell me something, does it also support when a customer is looking for something like a disaster recovery or so?
Oh, well, I mean, disaster recovery is an integral part of our data protection solutions. In case customer is looking at a DR for their backup data, we offer it seamlessly with every technology of ours.
Right.
Be it DR on premises or DR to the cloud, anything for that matter, we support them end to end. Again, when you talk about a DR or a replication from one side to other side, what is essential here is the efficiency of the product, right? How less data movement is happening between the sites, because
Right.
otherwise your bandwidth requirement becomes very high and the latency is very high, right? So again, it boils down to the reduction technologies what we have and how efficient you are in that.
Right.
And I think no one can beat us when it comes to deduplication technologies, right? So it is, a lot of our customers have a DC-DR kind of concept, I mean with unidirectional as well as bidirectional replications.
Right.
There are many banking customers also who have multi-way DR, near DR, far DR, keep replicating data between multiple sites and all. So this is an ongoing process. Plus, when you talk about in virtualization environment, specifically on VMware and all, we offer technologies like continuous data protection, which offers local backup as well as DR and continuous replication of this data with near zero RPO and RTO.
That's
I think this is
fantastic.
quite unique in the
Very
industry.
unique. Absolutely right. So, you know, it's packed with features and functionalities which are absolutely helpful for customers. The best part is that. Now, with that said, will I be right if I say that, you know, this is only for enterprise level customers, or is it even suitable for even medium and even small customers? I know you might be having different versions of it. I mean, what do you think is the right thing for that particular category of customers, or does it really go by the workload and not really the size of the customer at all?
Well, I think this is a misnomer. Most of our technologies are available for small and mid-sized customers. Let me just tell you that I think close to 16 to 18% of our revenue comes from that segment, right? Small and medium segment. And our products are designed, our licensing is designed in such a way to cater to that segment. And one such example is the Power Protect Data Manager Essentials license, right? Which is very similar to Veeam backup and replication license.
Right.
Okay, it is one single license, pretty cost effective, meant for these customer sets, and it comes with anything you can think of in a backup environment. First of all, the backup and recovery of any kind of applications, databases, or even virtualization platforms. It comes with DR, whether it is on premises or cloud. It comes with long-term retentions with cloud tier kind of functionality. Again, I spoke about continuous data protection. So it comes with end-to-end everything. I mean, I don't think a small and mid customer who are always constrained with the manpower and all, they don't have to look multiple places for a solutions to evaluate a solutions. One single product, one single license can take care of everything. So SMB is one of our very focused areas of late.
See, one thing I'm extremely curious, especially when you're talking about any of these segments where you're working, right, is that especially during this pandemic period, what we all went through, you know, lives were devastated, businesses went down, customers had their own challenges in terms of how do they protect their data during this time. How did you see, or what is a trend you saw? How did your customers prioritize or, you know, reprioritize, you know, backing up data during this time?
Sumant, honestly,
I would even extend this question and say, how did they even think about, or how did they go about strategizing in terms of protecting their data?
Honestly speaking, I mean, COVID was a shock to each one of us, right? None of us had dreamt of such a pandemic in our lifetime. And most of our customers had trouble managing their data centers, reaching out to their data centers, right? Everybody was isolated, everybody was quarantined, and we were not able to move out of our homes. So this was the challenge. And obviously, after the initial a few months, customers started looking at various options to overcome this challenge, right? We went back as a responsible OEM. We went back, reached out to most of our customers, and then provided them various solutions to this. And one of the major one in that was adopting cloud, right? customers realized that it is high time that they have their critical workloads moving to cloud, so that there is absolutely no human intervention. There is and they can manage it well. Same time, if you know, traditionally customers use tape as the backup medium, right, the backup target. We went out to the customers, educated them about the intelligence of disk-based backup solutions, right, because again the benefit of having disk-based backup solution is, as I said, you have no human intervention there. You have no physical movement of tape cartridges, because that was again another challenge for the customers, aligning a third party to move their data from on-site to off-site, and at the same time you are actually maintaining the social distancing norms what government had during that point in time, right? So that way actually we helped all our customers. Now once they moved the data to the cloud, it was again the challenge for the customers to how do you manage the backup, because whether the data is residing on your own premises or it residing in somebody else's premises, right, the cloud service provider's premises, you have to manage your own data, right? Now as I am saying, I mean, we have technologies today, we have licenses today which can be interchanged, which can be used in any kind of environment, whether it is on premises or even in cloud also. So that was another benefit to our customers, that instead of any I will say disruptions, they could seamlessly protect their data in cloud. Secondly, I mean, as all of us started working from home, we came across a lot of data loss incidents from customers, right? Because a lot of critical data was residing on these endpoints.
Right.
So our technology, which is Power Protect Backup as a Service, which is basically a SaaS-based backup offering for endpoints and SaaS applications, that helped customers to back up the data directly to cloud without having to maintain the infrastructure on their own. So these are certain things what we did for our customers.
So you didn't mention about good amount of cloud integration as such, right? So will I be right in saying that, you know, whether it's AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, or even for that matter, even Oracle Cloud, right? Do you have great integration wherein customers can actually not only think about just cloud as a target, but also about probably have cloud as an extension of the backup which is actually happening on premises now, or probably even keeping a secondary copy or a tertiary copy of the same data out in the cloud? Do you think that makes a lot of sense and that's how it works now?
You're absolutely right. So today if you look at, I mean, data is lifeline for any customer in the current data driven era, right? It is every customer today has adopted cloud in some form or shape, right?
Very true, very true.
It is not just moving the data from on premises to cloud. What is critical here is how efficiently you are moving the data, right? That is the question, and how secure it is and how flexible it is, right? And when I move the data from one cloud to another cloud, so that is something critical here. And secondly, I see many customers are confused between multiple cloud service providers. They come with their own offerings and everybody are different. Customers are unsure down the line, say after 3 years, what kind of bill they will be served by each of these service providers,
Very true, yes.
So that is a major concern for the customer. So we stepped up, I mean, started interacting with these customers, we guided them, and we created TCOs for these customers, how exactly it will look like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line. We started helping our customers that way. Secondly, I mean, as I said, I mean, as a responsible OEM in this industry, we keep doing multiple surveys, analysis and all that locally as well as globally. And one such survey is Global Data Protection Index, right? This is a survey we conduct year on year, globally, and we talk to more than 1,000 different IT decision makers, and then understand their pain points, their challenges, their plan, and then based on that we align our technology towards those asks, right? What we saw in last year's report was not very different from what we were thinking. Many customers were very hesitant about managing different backup technologies when it comes to so many different applications. Typically, if you look at a major data center, you will have hundreds of applications running, right? It could be traditional legacy applications or databases, or it could be any next gen applications and databases, including different hypervisors, multi-cloud, or even containers or Kubernetes, or even Hadoop, NoSQL, MySQL, any of these kind of scenarios, right? So they were looking for a vendor who can provide them an efficient technology and who is reliable and trustworthy, right? That brings in the question, how relevant we are as Dell Technologies, right? Now, as you are aware, I mean, we have been the leader when it comes to data center and data protection space. In fact, just to tell you, in the last 3 years, we have also become #1 for cloud data protection.
Very nice.
And again, I am quite excited to mention this. Today, we are protecting more than 7 exabyte of data in cloud for our customers, be it any kind of environment, any kind of workload for that matter. The same technology of data protection solutions what customers are using from our portfolio on premises, all those technologies are seamlessly available today in cloud, in every cloud service provider's marketplace, right? At the same efficiency, at the same deduplication, compression, and everything is the same, right? So it's a seamless journey for our customers, right? You can think of any workload for that matter. It could be backup to cloud, DR to cloud, long-term retentions to cloud, or even in-cloud backup. End-to-end everything we provide seamlessly.
That's a great flexibility what you're actually providing to the customers. Now, while you also spoke about cloud, one thing which I would definitely want to touch base on is, you said that the support for multi-hypervisor environment is also high when it comes to the data protection solutions from Dell is. So if you can throw some light around it in terms of how, I mean, which are those hypervisors where you support, and I would definitely not want to miss asking you that how well are you integrated with your own company, which is VMware, which is a leader in virtualization.
Yes.
Please throw some light around that.
Well, I mean, I think when it comes to Dell Technologies, we are the one of the very few OEMs in this segment who has the extensive support when it comes to hypervisors, right? It goes without saying, VMware, yes, it's our own sister concern, and then the entire development cycle of data protection business unit and VMware happens on the same R&D table, right? While most of our vendors offer a API level integration with VMware, we go much below that, right? I mean, the coding and the kernel level integration.
Right.
Each of our data protection technologies today can be managed from a vSphere user interface itself. So you don't have to, as a customer, you don't have to toggle between two different user interfaces or dashboards, right? From a single vSphere interface, you can actually manage end-to-end everything. We have seen, I mean, many customers, I mean, we have heard about this, right? The VM sprawl or the VM stun, right? When your number of VMs grow, your VMware server farm is growing. We have seen these challenges, the backup window taking time, latencies and all that, right? Now, VADP, which is supposed to be the backup method for a VMware environment,
right,
was introduced way back in 2009. That point in time, it was the best technology. But then in today's context, I think we'll have to look beyond it, because the kind of growth we are seeing in this infrastructure, right? That is where our innovation comes, and our latest innovation is nothing but the transparent snapshot, right?
Right.
This is a technology which completely different from VADP. I'll be excited to do a deep dive on transparent snapshot and how it helps to it can help our customers. But let me just give you some of the pointers to it. This is a technology which helps you to back up your VMs without even to pause those VMs, right?
Right.
That is the first thing. Second, when you talk about the latency, it brings down the latency by 5x.
Right.
And last but not the least, when it comes to your network bandwidth usage, it reduces the bandwidth uses by 50%, right? This is a great technology when it comes to VMware integration. Now, beyond VMware, we support most other virtualization platforms, right? Be it Hyper-V, be it Acropolis HV, be it Oracle Virtual Machine, RHEV, Citrix, KVM, anything for that matter. Now, the beauty here is if you have a customer who is a multi-hypervisor user, they don't have to look at multiple software tools to manage them, right?
Right.
One single license package can give them anything and everything they want, and we have licenses available in various models as a front-end capacity-based as well as socket-based license. So, customers can benefit depending on their infrastructure.
See, very well put, Gautam. See, when it comes to service providers like us, when we are going and talking to customers, and we are here with customers to make sure that we reduce those complexities. We make their life a lot more easier in terms of managing their data. Automatically, we wouldn't want to bring complexity inside the system by creating multiple different platforms which is going to do the backup.
Yes.
It makes so much more life easier when we are saying that we are creating a single platform which is going to do backup of multiple different environments, and customers don't need to look at anything else. And that's a huge value proposition when it goes to, especially from a service provider point of view. When we go to customers, it makes a lot of sense. Now that takes me to the next question which I had. See, data centers are getting modernized. Developer platforms are something which is extremely essential today. Organizations which are not even IT oriented are becoming IT oriented today.
Yes, absolutely.
And they want to develop their own digital IT today. When they want to do that, how is that you're going to help them out in terms of, say, backing up their containerized data, or the application, whether it's Kubernetes platform? How do you do that? Do you support it?
Yes, that's a big answer.
Yes.
In fact, Dell was the first enterprise data protection solutions provider to offer a support officially for Tanzu, right?
Right.
Again, it goes with our philosophy, as I said. I mean, the kind of product release cycles we have, every 3 to 4 months you have the new technologies coming in, new versions coming in, new releases coming in. So keeping that in mind, we were the first one to support Tanzu. And today, if you look at, I mean, when we brought in this Tanzu support, we were integrating with Project Velero and offering the backup of the containerized platforms and all. So if you look at, I mean, we are the only vendor today, even today, who has an end-to-end support when it comes to any containers or Kubernetes kind of environments, right? And that will continue to grow. I mean, so that goes without saying.
Right. One thing I've been thinking about for quite some time now, while we've been conversing, I'd say is the elephant in the house. Today, security is a primary thing for any customer. Data is a new currency, and we need to make sure that this data is protected, especially when we have attacks like ransomware happening, or the kind of cyber threats what we are seeing. And I know that for a fact Dell Technologies is doing a lot of work around it, not only with their data protection solution but their entire portfolio as such.
Yes.
Throw some light about it in terms of how does it work over here when it comes to your portfolio.
This is a subject which is very close to my heart. I have a lot of passion talking about it. I mean, Sumant, I mean, if you allow me, I will keep talking for hours together on this. Today, the situation is as such, no customer. I mean, I'll say every customer and every segment is impacted with this. Challenge, right? The ransomware or the cyber attacks, right? No one today can say safe whether I will be attacked or not. No, it is either you are already attacked or when are you going to be attacked. There is no other question. And if you look at, I mean, forget about the global figures and all. Globally, I mean, a year back, analysts were saying that every 39 seconds there is an attack, right? Within the last 1 year, it has come down to 11 seconds.
Right.
So the attack vector is growing multiple folds, And when I talk about this attack, it could be ransomware attacks, it could be malware, it could be insider attacks, it could be hacktivism, it could be espionage, anything for that matter, right? Look at overall picture for that. And be it a healthcare customer or a financial institute or even a IT services provider, retail, federal, anybody for that matter, every customer is impacted with these attacks. And we have seen, I mean, these are all there in public media. In
Very
last 6 to 8 months, we keep coming across a lot of such things. Almost every week we come across a new attack. In fact, the latest one was last week, which happened in Tamil Nadu, and that too it's a government site. So it is there everywhere. Now, one of the beauties, if you look at, I mean, of course, the financial sector is more prone to this, because a single transaction loss could be $1 million loss in those sectors, right? So they are pretty careful about this. And then in US, if you look at the top 30 financial institutions, they came together and formed an initiative called Sheltered Harbor Initiative.
Right.
Now, just to tell you what is the Sheltered Harbor. Sheltered Harbor is basically a non-profit making organization. They provide standards and frameworks to protect and recover data in case of these kind of deadly cyber attacks
Right.
to the financial institutions, right? I am quite excited to say we are the only vendor in the industry who is a partner to this initiative and who is certified in this initiative. We are the only one, there is nobody else.
It's a
right?
fantastic thing to have.
Yes. And secondly, most of the global regulators today, they talk about maintaining your backup in a air-gapped isolated vault, right? Again, we are the only vendor in the industry who offers that air-gapped isolated vault for our customers, wherein your data is protected in a very safe and secure way. And in case, God forbid, in case there is an attack, there is a compromise, even after having so many layers of security solutions, your data is safe. You don't have to spend too much time in analyzing the data, and that is what we have seen in past also in many of the customers. Whenever they have an attack, the data center is down for almost 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks and all, and there is absolutely no business occurs, right? Why? That's because, first of all, you don't know what was the extent of that attack. So you need to go through a complete analysis and investigation and all. That takes pretty long time.
Right.
On top of that, the data you have backed up, you are not sure which data is the correct data or the clean data and which data is the compromised or the corrupted data, right? Of late, what we have seen is when these attacks happen, these bad actors parallelly they attack your production data as well as the backup data. They encrypt the backup indexes, they encrypt the backup cartridges, and that is how they force you to pay ransoms, right? But of late, if you look at, I mean, all this analyst report and all, you will realize even after paying huge ransoms, customers don't get back their entire data, or even if they get back the data, it is not completely clean, right? So this is a never-ending story, right? I mean, you keep paying ransoms to get back some data, and how long you will keep doing that, and it's a true loss, right? Now, what we see is basically it's like a tip of the iceberg, right? I mean, you're only paying ransom, that's just one part of it, but what goes underneath is huge. Plus, the kind of brand, the image, your image getting spoiled in the market is really serious, right?
I'm sure. See, I think the strategy what every customer today needs to take, especially when it comes to these kind of thing, is I think it's prevention, which is better than cure.
Absolutely.
And have the best of the data protection solutions, so that you do not get affected by such a thing. And you wouldn't want to be in a phase wherein you are trying to fetch data out. I myself had been in certain situations wherein I was helping out customers in making sure that they fetch the data back, and it wasn't an easy process at all. It was a very tough process, and like you said, they didn't even get their entire data back.
Absolutely.
And even if it had come back, it was already a corrupted data. So it's a huge challenge. It's a threat on the business directly, and this is something which needs to be, I would say, priority one when it comes to the initiatives or the projects what every CIO would take today.
It is a board discussion today, right? I mean, customers are discussing at the board level, and I'm quite excited. I mean, if any customer wants to have a deep dive on this, I'll be quite excited to spend time and then explain them how exactly this works.
Yes, Gautam. So you told me that multiple features are there here. It's packed with features and functionalities which are very, very beneficial for a lot of customers of ours in multiple different dimensions, right? So automatically the question which comes in is, how affordable are these solutions? So what do you say about it? Are they affordable?
Well, this is I mean, if you look at our customer base, the kind of industry share we have, absolutely customers don't buy these technologies because of the brand name, right? It is definitely affordable, that's why customers buy these technologies. And secondly, as I said, I think 16 to 18% of our revenue comes from the small and mid-size organizations.
Right.
If that is the case, we are definitely not expensive. When it comes to our licensing, we have different types of licensing models, and we have made it simple for the customers and flexible for the customer. You have both the perpetual licenses and subscription based licenses, capex model versus utility model. You have front end capacity based licenses versus socket based licenses. You have physical purpose built backup appliances as well as software defined models. If a customer is already having compute and storage with him, he can use our technologies as a software defined model. We have solutions available for on premises as well as for the cloud, and we also have a quite interesting licensing model, which is our transformational licensing model, right? The licensing agreement, TLA. A lot of our customers utilize this TLA model, and plus a lot of other the models are available in terms of, the payment modes are available with us. So I don't think it is a problem. We have customers in all kinds of sizes and shapes, and then utilize
totally
our
depends on the workload and
absolutely,
what exactly
we are quite flexible. The kind of licensing model we have, I think we can fit into any kind of environment. The previous example what I gave you, we compete with products like Veeam and all, so that way you can imagine.
So Goutam, this brings me to the question, or I'm more curious to understand that you have been in this industry for a long time, and you have worked in multiple different MNCs. And my question to you is that how different or how similar was your journey compared to the other vendors, to what your life at Dell Technologies? How do you see it? How do you see the difference here?
Sumant, every day is exciting, it is challenging. I will say it is good and bad for me. Good because in my life I have not done anything beyond data protection. Bad is I don't know anything else, right? That way. But yes, I have been in this industry for more than 15, 17 years. I was selling backup solutions that time, and I am selling backup solutions even today. So I think this industry will remain as it is. You will have customers, the data would be critical, and then they will require the backup solutions. But yes, definitely the way we back up the environment has completely changed, right? Because it is obvious. The data structure is changing. Data is growing day by day. The RPO or RTO, the backup window is shrinking day by day. So obviously, so this is changing. I think that's a change we are seeing. But then yes, earlier when we were talking about backing up the data to the tape, we are talking about backing up the data in clouds. 5 years, 7 years back, customers were asking which cloud. When we used to start the interaction about cloud, they used to ask which cloud. Today, customers are not asking which cloud. They are asking how many clouds. Whether it is public, whether it is private. Again, in private, it is your own private or a secured private or whatever, or a hybrid or multi-cloud, anything, right? So that way the things have moved on, and well, it is all part of life. I think whatever I am doing, I am enjoying it. I think every day is a new day for me.
That's all matters, right?
Yes.
Yeah, totally right. So that brings me to the question of the day, I'd say. How do you see this partnership or the alliance between Chavans Technologies and Dell in terms of taking these kind of solutions into the market? Where do you see the benefits for customers?
If you know Dell Technologies as an organization, whether it is the earlier Dell and EMC, and now it is Dell Technologies. EMC was always an indirect selling company, right? We never used to do any business directly, and the same culture is now evolving in Dell Technologies also. we understand, I mean, if I have to reach out to the market, it is always possible, not just by me, it is through partnerships, right? So we have, I mean, Chavans is one of our focused partners. We enjoy working with you and your team, the kind of skill sets you bring in, the kind of expertise you bring in. I'm quite happy that if I give you an opportunity, you will do justice to that opportunity, and the customer would be satisfied. End of the day, what we need, we look at customer satisfaction,
Absolutely right.
That is this is what we look at, and then we enjoy this partnership. I think this is a long way to go.
See, something which I would like to iterate, Gautam, is that at Chavans, what we have done is we have built this culture which is very, very customer centric, or I would say even people centric for that matter. It's not just about customers alone. It's about customers, their
Absolutely.
their vendors. Now, how do we design solutions to them and make sure that the entire the solutions what we have given to them is a lot more simpler in nature, and it is scalable in nature, and something which is more trustworthy. The minute the word trust comes into picture, and the minute I need to know that I need to rely on the technology provider, and Dell Technologies obviously is on top of our mind, and we make sure that this alliance takes us to much greater heights, and we're able to provide much more better solutions to customers and more thickly aligned with them and help them out in their growth. So with that said, Gautam, I'd say thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us your time and spending your time with us and sharing all your thoughts and insights about how data protection solutions from Dell Technologies are going to help and benefit customers and multiple other enterprises today across the globe. And I'll be happy to have you again on this session where we can talk more about this set of technologies.
Thank you. Thank you
thank
so
you, Gautam.
much. Thank you for inviting me. Happy sailing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.